Hi, Kevin here with the Trainual product team, and I'm here to tell you today about a few updates we've recently made to the new Delegation Planner feature in your account. So the first thing is related to our new connected content feature, where we now let you search your Trainual content and connect any subject, topic, or step to a responsibility. So one of the small improvements we've made to this is that it's now sorted by relevance. So you're going to see subjects here that are related, and most relevant to the person or group that the responsibility is connected to. So specifically, I have Pam Beasley here. I'm going to see subjects sorted first that are most recently assigned to Pam, or if she's not assigned any subjects, then it's going to show based on most recently created in the account. So I just created this subject and assigned it to Pam, how to admire Jim. And that is showing first because that is what we consider to be most relevant to this user. So it just saves you time when you're connecting content to those responsibilities. Also on the topic of connected content, there is now a new icon on responsibility cards that shows you how many pieces of connected content are connected to a responsibility. This really helps you with understanding kind of what responsibilities still need content, which ones you may be over-investing in content creation to as well, where you might have too many things connected to a responsibility and not enough on others. Helps you identify those gaps at a glance. So you can see here, I've got these that have 4 and 2, and I can see I have some responsibilities with no connected content. So that helps me know where to focus and kind of where to draw my attention to start connecting content to those other responsibilities. One other small improvement on the board is that we now show you the date and name of the person who last saved a board. So just helps you understand who is making changes in your account to boards, since boards are shared among all admins in your Trainual account. You can see the date that it was last saved, as well as who made that save. The next set of enhancements have to do with our time commitment feature on responsibilities. So we basically just made it a small quality of life improvement to make it easier and save you time with adding time to all of your responsibilities. So specifically here, this first one has to do with adding time in a groups column, and then how that carries over to a person who is within that group. So here's an example. I've got the regional manager group. I've got Michael, who is a person, and he is in that regional manager role. So I can see that group here and the responsibilities that he has by being a part of that group. So if I go into the groups column and add a new responsibility here, and then let's say I give it a time commitment of 10 hours a week, watch what happens to this 13 number under Michael when I click create here. It automatically updates to add that 10 to now 23 hours a week, based on me adding that here on this group column. So basically you're getting an automatic carryover of the time from the group column to any person on your board who is a part of this role. The one caveat to that is we still do allow you to have the flexibility to set individual times for each person. So let's say, the baseline expectation for this group is that any regional manager, it should take them about 10 hours a week to complete this responsibility. But let's say, Michael, maybe he's new to the role, so he takes a little bit more time. Maybe he's at 12 hours a week. So I can go ahead and still change that and override that for Michael. And then that will stay here as Michael's specific time for that responsibility. So that means that if I was to come back here to this group column and change this from 10 to 5, it is not going to update under Michael's column because it's respecting the fact that I set a specific time for Michael on that responsibility, and it's using that as the higher priority and retaining that. Another time-related improvement we've made here has to do with when you move responsibilities between column and how we carry over that time to another column as well. The previous behavior used to basically let time be specific for every column. So if you moved a responsibility from one column to another and you didn't set a time value on that new column before, then it would clear out and reset to 0 and you'd have to set it again. So it would just take you more time to add time for all the responsibilities. And now it's a little bit quicker, so I can show this. Here's a moving example. I'll give it a 5-hour-a-week estimate. And let's say I want to move this away from the regional manager group and onto Michael. And you will see here that the 5 hours a week retains there as I add it over there. And again, just like the previous improvement, we still do respect column-specific times. So let's say if I, again, change this just for Michael to say it takes him 6 hours a week, if I drag this back to the original column, it's going to revert back to that 5 because that was the time that we had set for this column. And then if I take it back again to Michael, it's going to revert back to that 6 because, again, it's respecting whatever time you set on a specific column if you've ever set one. But if not, then it will always just carry over to save you time in the event that you just want to use the same time for all columns. And saving the best improvement for last, you might notice there's a new icon up here next to the plus button, which is a new full screen view. So We received feedback that people would love to have more space to interact with boards that have lots of columns, lots of responsibilities. And this button lets you do just that. So if you click that, you can see that the delegation planner becomes a lot more expansive on the screen. So we get a lot more columns you can see more responsibilities at once. The navigation menu of Trainual hides, your header hides. You just get an expansive view that lets you see more on your screen at once. This is a great tool to use when you're doing one-on-ones as a manager with your ICs and you're going through their responsibilities or your team. It gives you just kind of a full screen immersive view where you can screen share this with your team on a Zoom meeting or in person on a TV and really walk them through this in a sort of immersive sort of way. And then if you're ready to exit it, you just click the button here to exit full screen view and you're taken right back to the normal view of your Trainual account. And that is it. So that is the summary of sort of what our most recent delegation planner improvements were in this update, but there are many more to come coming soon. So stay tuned to hear out what those are. Thank you.